25 degrees, wind chill of 19. It is snowing here in Chicago, Goose.
You know it, Kenny. Kenny, I'm going to be probably wanting to talk about the big guys on the line of scrimmage. But today's something on the outside really caught my eye. And that's the matchup between Charles Tillman and Mike Williams. Mike Williams is Matt Hasselbeck's go-to guy. But Tillman's going to try and keep him on that line of scrimmage. I talked to Matt Hasselbeck about the matchup, and he told me he doesn't care who's covering Mike Williams or how many people are covering Mike Williams. He's going to get him the ball. I can't wait to see how this goes and plays out.
Mike Williams had a huge game here in Chicago in October.
Really kind of his coming out party, and Lovie Smith actually told us we did not do a good job of matching up with him that day. We didn't know he could have that type of impact on the game. They made the adjustments for this afternoon.
Seahawks have won the toss. Robbie Gould gets things started. This is Leon Washington, returned 3 kickoffs for touchdowns during the regular season, and he's tackled at the 23-yard line by Nick Roach. Matt Hasselbeck, according to his coach, Pete Carroll, was ridiculously good in the game against New Orleans last weekend.
He made some amazing throws last week. Now, it's going to be different today. The way Chicago plays defense, much different than New Orleans. They're going to test his patience. He's got to be smart. One of the things to keep your eye on is the chess match at the line of scrimmage between Matt Hasselbeck and Brian Urlacher.
Seahawks start with split backs, Justin Forsett and Leon Washington in the backfield. The inside handoff to Washington, who just returned the opening kickoff, and he gains 9 before he was tackled by Brian Urlacher.
Well, he's got some more weapons to work with besides Mike Williams on the outside. We remember Marshawn Lynch's run last week, see if he can get into beast mode early in this game. But to me, the big key are these guys right here. Can they keep Matt Hasselbeck clean? They did not allow a sack the last time these two teams played back in October.
Marshawn Lynch in the backfield along with fullback Michael Robinson. 2nd down and 1. And here's Lynch. Bottled up, brought down back at the 30 by Israel Adonijay.
I don't think that Bears defense, Darryl, wants him to go and get in that beast mode anytime soon.
No, they're not going to allow it, and they were respectful of the run that he had, but they said that wouldn't happen against this defense. This defense is all about hustle, getting guys to the football. If Marshawn Lynch is going to break tackles, he's going to have to break a bunch of them. These guys are going to be flying to the ball.
3rd down and 3. Hasselbeck fires, intended for Brandon Stokely.
Here's our first example of maybe some trouble with the footing out in the field. It's going to be a slant. So you're going to have to make a hard cut to the inside. You see Brandon Stokely stumble a little bit right there. He's going to be open for that catch and conversion.
They got to keep their feet underneath them if they want to make those cuts, Darryl. The Bears have been on this field. They know how to play it. The Seahawks are going to have to go and learn on the fly.
John Ryan punting to Devin Hester. Fair catch called for at the 34. Good field position for the Chicago Bears. Jay Cutler's last postseason start was in high school. He won a championship, did not even play in a bowl game during his collegiate career at Vanderbilt. So this is first playoff game since his senior year at Heritage Hills High School in Lincoln City, Indiana.
A very quiet sense of confidence visiting with Chicago on Friday. And it really all boils down to those guys up front. That has been the big change, in my opinion, in the second half of the season.
From the 34-yard line, Matt Forte out to the 40, gain of 6. Forte over 1,000 yards during the regular season.
Well, we've talked a lot about Chicago coming more into a balance between run and pass, and the reason they were able to do that is because of the 5 guys up front. They were running the ball, but it just wasn't effective early in the season. These guys came together. They got that starting 5 intact. They played together for the last 9 games. That is the reason why. That helped them also in their pass protection.
On 2nd down, it's Forte again. And he dives out to the 42. Gain of 3. setting up 3rd down and 2.
And the key for Seattle's defense are going to be those 2 guys in the middle, Colin Cole, Brandon Mebane. That is going to be the key, in my opinion, to slowing down this Chicago running game. Can you challenge Mike Martz to be patient? If you can shut down the run of Lofa Tatupu and his guys can tackle well, if all of a sudden Mike Martz gets frustrated, he'll slide to a heavy pass game plan.
Bears must get to the 45 for a 1st down. Cutler fires downfield, and the catch is made by the tight end Greg Olsen for a Bears touchdown.
I tell you, that is a fantastic throw in these weather conditions.
Just runs by Lawyer Malloy right here.
He didn't even start the backpedal, Goose. He was caught flat-footed. He was expecting a curl or an in route, and he just sat. And Greg Olsen ran right past him.
Another Jersey guy there, Greg Olsen. His father was actually the head coach of Ironhead Hayward. Darryl, you remember Ironhead, right?
Oh, yeah.
58 yards from Cutler to Olsen on the Bears' opening drive. Gold, the extra point, 7-0 Chicago. Great start for the Bears as Cutler connects with Olsen. A 3-play, 66-yard drive, longest reception of Olsen's career. And for the Seahawks, 2nd consecutive week in the postseason, they find themselves in a hole early.
I thought it was one of the more impressive comments this weekend talking to Lawyer Malloy. And he said last week when we were down 10, I saw so many guys rise up, so we didn't become the team that everybody thought we were going to be.
Leon Washington upended just shy of the 25. It's Nick Roach again, his 2nd tackle on special teams. Seattle fell behind 10-0 and 17-7 against New Orleans last week.
And very easy for that team that's had a difficult season to all of a sudden go, hey, you know what, maybe everybody was right. Maybe we don't belong here with a losing record in the playoffs against the defending Super Bowl champs. There was none of that from this group. They are very in tune to everything, and they are very, very excited for this opportunity.
Hasselbeck playing with a couple of injuries. You saw his left wrist, fractured left wrist. He hits John Carlson, the tight end, who picks up a 1st down. Carlson with a pair of touchdowns against the Saints last week, and he remains down.
I tell you, what people don't understand is when you heat a field, when you've got coils underneath the field stays heated, but a lot of the sideline is not. And there's John Carlson coming down head first onto that turf, and I guarantee you it is a lot harder over on those sidelines than it is out on that field.
The hit by Danielle Manning after Carlson gained 14 yards. Head comes down first.
And everyone, I used to do it all the time. You try and hurdle guys, you get your legs out of the ground, you're worried about a knee injury. All of a sudden you get cut, you're flying through the air, and you saw that helmet hit the turf first.
Carlson, 3rd-year tight end out of Notre Dame, caught 31 passes during the regular season, 1 touchdown, and then 2 touchdowns against New Orleans last week. Back in Chicago, Seahawks medical staff tending to injured Seattle tight end John Carlson.
Again, you're going down the sideline, you're trying to get up and get your legs out of there to be safe. And just watch as he comes down. The first thing that hits is the head. He was a big key last week of getting Seattle back into that game against New Orleans. A couple of those little tight end screen plays where you lose him, he goes down to the ground, pops up, had 2 nice touchdown catches. Great execution on the play with Matt Hasselbeck. So this is a big loss. Everything shifts to Cameron Morrow right there. Really your only other tight end on the roster at this time. From time to time, they'll move Mike Williams down into that area. But those are special plays for Mike Williams inside. He's as big as a tight end, but he's not going to be able to block and hold the point.
You talk about this Seahawks roster, a lot of transition since Pete Carroll took over following 2009 season. New general manager John Schneider. 284 transactions under the new regime so far.
And some guys who were cut and then brought back, and you know, Pete Carroll said they were different people when they came back. They appreciated the opportunity. So when we talk about change from the last time these two teams played in Seattle, with it being really their roster, it was the search for the right type of people, and it went on all throughout the course of the year. They really feel like they've gotten to the point where they do have the right people right now, and it couldn't have come at better timing. They had to beat St. Louis in the last game of the regular season just to get into the playoffs. And then I'll say it right here. There's no way I thought that Seattle was going to be able to beat New Orleans last week. It was just a great team performance, especially the way the game got away from them early on. They were able to hang in there, a team that had struggled all season long, and find a way to come back and beat the defending world champions.
I'll tell you what, Darryl, a team that really believes is a lot more dangerous, you know, than a team that has all the athletes and everything that just doesn't have the drive. And I'll tell you what, right now, Seattle has the drive, and they do believe in each other.
They trail this game by 7. Seahawks tight end John Carlson being driven back towards the Seahawks locker room, and we will update you as soon as we receive an official report.
And we did see movement in the arms. We saw conversation with the doctors and the trainers from John.
Yeah, he was communicating with the doctors as they rolled him off there, Darryl, so that's a good sign.
And there's Cameron Morrow, the only other tight end on the Seattle roster. First and 10 from the 38-yard line as Hasselbeck gets rid of it quickly, and it's taken across midfield by Golden Tate, the rookie out of Notre Dame, for another Seahawks first down, a gain of 13.
And that's one of the things that Seattle wanted to make Chicago's defense do, was defend the entire field, and Chicago does as good a job as anybody in what we call setting the edges and turning everything back to the inside. And they were going to try and get onto the corners, out on the perimeter, and force Chicago's defense to cover the entire width of the field.
There's Rock Marinelli, former head coach of the Lions, the Bears defensive coordinator. Mora in at tight end for Seattle. From the Chicago 49. Hasselbeck over the top, and it's through the hands of Mora. Manning on the coverage.
You can't throw it any better than Matt Hasselbeck did right there. Tight coverage on Cameron Moore, and he puts it in a perfect spot. Just got to come down with that catch. Crosses the formation in motion. He's going to go up the field, gets picked up by Daniel Manning. He's got the steps, and look at that throw by Matt Hasselbeck.
Now 2nd and 10. 4 receivers set, 4 set. In the backfield, Hasselbeck spins and then hands it off to Forsett, but it did not fool Brian Urlacher.
Well, Brian Urlacher was all over Forsett. Watch him in this shot right here. See his eyes right there on Forsett. He sees to the outside, boom, he comes in and makes the tackle. That's a middle linebacker right there, Darryl.
Yeah, great job by his guys up front too, Tony. They stoned the offensive lineman. There was no movement. Justin Forsett had nowhere to go. Hunted down by Brian Urlacher,
who's headed to his 7th Pro Bowl. On 3rd and 11, this time the catch is made by Mora. Looks to be just shy of the marker.
I think he got that stretch just a little bit late. I think he was down before he stretched out. If he lunges a little bit sooner, I think he's going to be fine. This is a tough decision for Pete Carroll, but I agree with it right here. You're down 7 on the road. You've got an opportunity to change field position right here for Chicago to drive a long field. Although part of that equation is punting it to Devin Hester.
Hester returned to punt 89 yards for a touchdown late in the game against the Seahawks back in October. Low snap. Ryan punting from midfield. Hester lets it go. And the Bears will be pinned inside the 10-yard line. Chicago Bears out to a 7-0 lead. Their first game in 2 weeks. They had the bye. Their last regular season game did not mean anything to the Bears. They were already locked in as the number 2 seed, but it certainly meant a lot to the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Chicago would have loved the opportunity of won that game to take those Packers out of the playoffs the way they looked last night.
Here's Forte on the handoff from Cutler. And he looks to find his way back to the line of scrimmage. Jay Richardson made the tackle. If the Bears had won that Week 17 game, the New York Giants would have made it to the postseason and not the Green Bay Packers. Packers beat the Bears 10-3.
I'll give you a little quick update on John Carlson. It was told to be a head injury, so there was nothing with the spinal cord or the neck. We were told it is related to the head.
That is the official injury report from the Seahawks. Second down and 10. Off the play fake. Cutler fires complete. First down, Johnny Knox. Out across the 25-yard line. 18-yard pass play.
Well, the Bears saw something on film where they felt very confident about attacking the middle of the field against Seattle. You get the play action, doesn't get a great bite, but look at that big void in between the linebackers and the safety. Good design on these routes to hold people and create that void.
Great job by that offensive line, too. Last time they played, they didn't do so well. But they're playing very well right now.
Cutler sacked 6 times in that game, Goose. Off the play fake this time. Cutler's pass incomplete. He was looking for the tight end, Olsen.
And there's one of those throws right there. You just have to be patient. It's not there. Don't try and force it. Throw the ball away. Put it somewhere where it doesn't have an opportunity for a turnover.
Seattle Seahawks bringing some pressure. Right up the middle, Maybain.
Second and 10 for Chicago. 3 receivers set. Earl Bennett in motion. From the 27-yard line, Forte breaks a tackle and dives out to the 33-yard line. Gain of 6.
Matt Forte is a physical runner. Will Herring has got him right at the line of scrimmage, maybe even for negative yards, and he just bounces right off of him. .547 receiving yards this season, too, to go along with over 1,000 yards rushing.
Joining Walter Payton back in '83, the only Bears to ever rush for 1,000 and also pick up at least 500 receiving yards in one season. Third down and 4. Cutler moving to his right. Can't find anyone downfield, and he's taken down by Lofa Tatupu, who was questionable throughout the week, suffered a concussion. But he's the leader of this Seattle defense.
A good job by Seattle's defense getting everybody covered down. Right here, there's Greg Olsen, who had the big play early on. Jordan Babineau right in his hip pocket right there.
Lofa Tatupu's also spying there, Darryl. They only rushed 3 linemen. They're worried about Matt Hasselbeck running for a first down. Or Jay Cutler running for a first down.
Brad Maynard punting from his own 20-yard line. And a fair catch is called for at the 36 by Golden Tate. Snow continues to fall here in Chicago. Bears lead the Seahawks 7-0.
And again, I think that confirms the decision that Pete Carroll made not to go for it on that 4th and short last time they had the ball offensively. Punt it, see if you can back Chicago up and gain some field position. Good spot to start this drive.
The punt hit the Bears back at their own 9-yard line. Chicago forced to punt, and now the Seahawks start from their 37. Marshawn Lynch. And he's tackled as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Lynch with that unbelievable run last week, 67 yards for a touchdown. against the New Orleans Saints.
I mean, he's just extremely physical. You know, even on a 3-yard run, I mean, he gets hit about 4 or 5 times. He's tough to bring down. The first guy usually doesn't bring Marshawn Lynch down, but right now, the inside tackles for Chicago are owning the line of scrimmage against Seattle's offensive line.
4 receivers set. Hasselbeck out of the shotgun, and the slant is caught by Mike Williams. Takes it out to the 44-yard line for a gain of 7. Williams out of the league the last 2 years, led the Seahawks this season with 65 receptions, playing for his old coach at USC, Pete Carroll.
It's absolutely amazing. You see there on the bottom, he was out of the league for 2 years in 2008 and 2009. And, you know, we asked Pete Carroll, you know, what do you think the problem was? What happened to him? And he said, you know, I think his goal was to get to the NFL. It wasn't to come to the NFL and be successful.
Once he made it there, it stopped working. Hasselbeck on 3rd and 3, pass intended for Ben Obamanu. Tim Jennings on the coverage.
Very tight coverage by Tim Jennings right there, trying to throw those little back shoulder outs on the outside. That's one of the things you're going to see today is Matt Hasselbeck with his eyes. You saw right there as he came out from underneath center, looking off to his left, trying to move the Bear defenders off of their landmarks and create those windows in that zone defense.
I'll tell you what, the tempo also down, the old Seattle tempo that Matt Hasselbeck has is back.
John Ryan Goose punting for the 3rd time in his first quarter. Here's Hester. Devin Hester across the 40. And he is forced out by the punter, Ryan, at midfield. 32-yard punt, 26 on the return. We mentioned at the end of our open, pay close attention to the return game today.
And I think one of the other changes that happened with Chicago during the course of the season is they limited Devin Hester's offensive reps. He's still got his package in. They're going to try and shoot for around 30 plays on offense, but they wanted him fresh in the return game. And you heard Jimmy Johnson during the pregame talk about how important of an element that was going to be today. We've got 2 of the best. At this stage of the game, Devin Hester's getting the better end of that deal over Leon Washington.
Jimmy Johnson loves him because he's from the U, Darryl. You know that.
That was a little bit.
Here's Forte. And when these teams met back in October, Devin Hester went over to Pete Carroll. Prior to the game, he said, why did you not recruit me at USC? How'd you miss out on me?
He's special. I mean, when you talk about over 17 yards a punt return during the course of the season, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, look at that number. And that changes field position. And that's why, you know, this progression with the offense for Chicago, play to the strengths. Your special teams creates great field position. You've got a fantastic defense. The one thing you can't do is turn the ball over and put your defense on a short field.
2 tight ends set, 2nd down and 5. Cutler was under pressure, got rid of it to the tight end Olsen. 1st down and more. Greg Olsen, who scored the touchdown for the Bears early in this game, takes it down to the Seattle 12. He gains 33 yards.
This is some nice ball placement by Jay Cutler right here. He's split out wide, coming out of the backfield. Just a little flat route right there. Look at that over the outstretched hand of Lofa Tatupu. Just a little throw into the flat. Turns into a big play for the Bears.
Olsen now with 2 receptions, 91 yards.
He trips himself up there at the end of the play. We had more yardage than that.
Cutler split out to the left. Direct snap to Earl Bennett. With Cutler leading the way, Bennett bumps into Cutler. And finally goes down inside the 3.
Jay Cutler's got to work on his blocking skills there, Darryl.
I don't know.
He did a pretty good job. Not bad.
I think Earl Bennett needed to get back inside. Watches a little option, a little read, keep going the other way. Chris Clemens gets caught inside. Now you got Earl Bennett on the corner. See?
Nice
Jay
job
Cutler
by
kicked him
Cutler.
out. He needs to get back inside that.
Put your hands inside. Nice. Look at that. Get out of the way now. Don't get hurt.
Cutler and Bennett, teammates at Vanderbilt. Playing together in the NFL. 2nd down and 1. Cutler is nearly picked off. Jordan Babineau thought he had it.
I tell you what, Jay Cutler knew as soon as this one came off his hand, he just made a really bad decision. His reaction, he's going straight to the sideline. Watch this. Oh, no.
Yeah, he tried to force that one.
Oh, Jordan Babineau does a good job, just reroutes, doesn't turn and run with the guy. Jay Cutler's expecting him to trail that. He turns him over, turns right back around. If he got his head around quicker, that was going to be a huge play for Seattle.
Third down and 1. 3 tight ends in the game for Chicago. Forte. It will depend on the spot. David Hawthorne, Seahawks leading tackler, brought down Matt Forte.
They're calling for 4th down right here. Looks like Lovey wants a measurement.
Doesn't look like they're going to give him one.
Yeah. Lovey's coming down here to the 10-yard line right now, calling a timeout.
Timeout, Chicago. This is their first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Third and 1 here. Little kick out on the edge. We talk about the pursuit of Chicago's defense. That's a nice job by the Seattle defenders rallying into that ball, because I thought he had an opportunity to not only get the first down, I thought he was going to get the touchdown.
And Goose mentioned Lovie Smith wanted a measurement on a 3rd down to 4th down play. The coach can ask for a measurement. Mike Pereira, our NFL rules analyst, is with us here in the broadcast booth, and Mike tells us that Lovie Smith should have been granted a measurement if he requested one.
Tell you, that defensive line, those inside guys doing a good job of keeping those offensive guys on the line of scrimmage, not letting them get to that second level so those linebackers can make a play.
Cutler on the sneak on 4th and inches.
That's a tough one to stop, huh, Darryl?
It really is. It really is. And he does a good job. Watch him get down low, and he slides. A lot of quarterbacks will go right at their center. They made like a little apex right there. It's kind of like everybody got to Roberto Garza, the right guard. You had Olin Kreutz and Jamarcus Webb come down, kind of create that wedge, but not on the center, on the right guard, and just that subtle little slide gives you the opportunity for a little more movement.
Kevin Schaefer, 78, in as an extra blocker. Here's Forte, goes over the top. What a play by Hawthorne.
That's outstanding.
Wow, did you see Olin Kreutz, the center for the Chicago Bears, get to that second level through the line of scrimmage?
No, I was watching the linebacker come up and hit him. Look at that. David Hawthorne, no hesitation, gets in. Catches him before he tries to leap.
That's perfect timing right there. Watch him take off. Here come the linebackers.
2nd and goal. Chester Taylor, his first carry today. He walks it in for a Bears touchdown. Nothing, Chicago.
Well, they tried the left side a couple of times. They went right on the 4th down, and they go right for the touchdown, too. Chester Taylor coming in. Everybody washing it down to the outside. They break it off tackle.
Cutler knew it was a touchdown. Right there, he handed the ball off. Same back there, he's got his hands up.
I tell you, they did a good job, Tony, because they pulled Roberto Garza on that, and I'm not a big fan of pulling offensive linemen on the goal line.
He did a great job of getting to the outside, though.
He really did. He really did. But, yeah, I really think that the big part that happened on that play was actually Kevin Schaefer that came down and secured that area where Roberto Garza had pulled. How many times do we see the lineman pull and that defensive lineman who's right there just kind of bursts into the backfield? So Kevin Schaefer did a great job of getting down inside to eliminate any penetration.
So Chester Taylor, the former Raven and Viking, he scored 3 rushing touchdowns during the regular season, all from the 1-yard line. does it here in the postseason. So the Chicago Bears playing their first playoff game since Super Bowl 41 against the Colts 4 years ago, out to a 2-touchdown lead. There in the first quarter, Leon Washington from the 5. And Washington taken down at the 28-yard line by Corey Graham. Well, coming up this February, see NASCAR's biggest race like you've never seen it race before at the newly paved Daytona International Speedway, where drivers can now go 3 wide. All the excitement of the NASCAR and Fox season begins with the running of the Daytona 500, February 20th, Darrell, only on Fox.
And it's something that I learned that I would have never thought. You would think that that would be paved and taken care of on a more regular basis since 1979. Since they said the track has been redone to this extent.
I want to see the paving machine that goes up those embankments.
So 3 wide at Daytona, 3 wide receiver set for the Seahawks as Justin Forsett makes the catch out of the backfield, and he's knocked out of bounds by Tillman after a gain of 6.
The tough thing about falling behind against Chicago is that's what this defense is built around. They're built around not giving up the big play. Jeremy Bates is going to have a tough time right now keeping his guys focused and just kind of moving ahead with the game plan. You know, now last week when you're down 10 against Seattle or against New Orleans, they're an aggressive style. There's going to be a chance for the big play.
On 2nd and 4, penalty flag, toss to Forsett, and he's wrestled down at the 36-yard line in the final minute of the first quarter. Our first chance to hear from Alberto Riveron.
Illegal motion, number 82, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Revell Martin, former Green Bay Packer, is the guilty Seahawk.
And when you're coming in motion on a crack block, you can't go forward. You can see Revell Martin was kind of hopping forward. You've got to stay parallel to the line of scrimmage.
First penalty of this game on either side.
Those wide receivers really don't want to block much, do they, Darrell?
They're trying to sneak up on that big defense gun, but they never quite do it.
Body in the way a little bit.
2nd down and 8. Hasselbeck, short pass to Obamanu. And Ben Obamanu tackled at the 33-yard line by DJ Moore. So the Seahawks now facing a 3rd down and 5 as time winds down in this first quarter in the snow in Chicago. Bears with a 14-0 lead over the Seahawks. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
They're clearing the lines on the field. Got about 15 guys with backpack blowers, so the officials can actually see the lines, not just the line of scrimmage, but all the lines, every 10 yards, 5 yards. Guys are having fun out there. They were dancing a little bit. Having a good time in here in Chicago.
They're working hard, Goose.
Yeah, they are.
Seahawks trailing by 14. 3rd down and 5. They must get to the 38. And they do, as the catch is made by Brandon Stokely. Takes it out to the 43-yard line.
Another one of those guys that they were looking for as they were tweaking their roster.
And a late flag thrown at the end of the play.
Holding, number 76, offense. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's against Russell Okung, who's going up against Julius Peppers. And there's going to be times when he's caught one-on-one. He spins back to the inside. He's got him hooked. It's like we always say, Tony, if somebody goes to the ground, there's going to be a yellow flag coming.
Exactly.
Okung, the rookie out of Oklahoma State, and that will be a key matchup throughout today's game.
He's a good young player, too. Very athletic, tough. They feel comfortable leaving him one-on-one with Julius Peppers from time to time.
Yeah, I haven't seen any chip in or helping out of the backfield yet. Got a lot of confidence in that young man.
3rd down and 15 following the penalty as Hasselbeck lays one up for Mike Williams out of bounds. Seahawks will punt.
Well, he's trying to get the ball to Mike Williams, Darryl.
He is.
They had some pressure on him on the backside. Let's take a look at Mike Williams coming out the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of press. Just a little fade route. That big man can run. Don't judge him by his size now. That guy's got some wheels on him. It's like a tight end more than a wide receiver, huh?
Wide receiver in a tight end's body. So John Ryan punting for the 4th time. Seahawks have only 2 first downs. They've gone 3 and out 3 times. Good news is they keep it out of the hands of Hester. And it hit one of the Seahawks, Kennard Cox. So it will be spotted at the 38. Winner of this game will host the Green Bay Packers if it is the Bears. As you take a look at the current weather here in Chicago, Packers no stranger to this weather.
Not at all. Not at all. That Chicago, Green Bay in the snow, can't ask for anything better than an NFC Championship game.
Packers coming off their victory in Atlanta last night. Off the fake to Taylor. Cutler with time. Goes all the way across the field to Greg Olsen. It's the 3rd big play from Cutler to Olsen. He takes it down to the Seattle 41, gaining 22. He's over 100 for the game.
You never know who the guy is going to be that becomes the big play guy. He was on the offensive right side, drags all the way across. The defense pops open clean over there in the flat.
Watch Aaron Curry right here, slips. The snow isn't helping the field conditions at all. It's getting a little slick out there. They're heating up the field. It's wet.
113 yards for Olsen. Here's Taylor, who scored the Bears' 2nd touchdown. And Justin Taylor gains 8 before he is finally tackled by Hawthorne. For Olsen, first Bears tight end in franchise history to go over 100 yards in a postseason game. Not even Mike Ditka.
And who would have expected that? You watch this, his numbers are down a little bit in Mike Martz's offense, and you worry about Devin Hester and Johnny Knox and Earl Bennett, and all of a sudden it's Greg Olsen who comes out and is having a career day here through the first half.
58-yard touchdown reception on the Bears' first drive. 2nd down and 2. Chester Taylor. Taylor up the middle. Picks up the Bears' first down to the Seattle 30.
And Mike Martz is just in a great rhythm right now with his play calling. He is staying true to it. He's mixing it up, staying relatively balanced. Some big shots down the field, but just great play design. The one where he got Greg Olsen down the middle of the field against Lawyer Malloy. You see that, 12-7, high on the rush. But short passes where the guys are having the opportunity to catch and run.
New set of downs for Chicago. Olsen split out to the right. Cutler looking his way, and he throws it out of bounds. Under pressure from Raheem Brock.
Just understand the complexion of this game right now. Don't make a bad decision. Don't throw the ball up for grabs. Jay Cutler was going to lobby for one right there, but I thought Raheem Brock did a good job. He tried to hold him up.
Second and 10, Olsen in the backfield, along with Forte. And with Olsen leading the way, this is Forte. Breaks away from Tutupu. And is finally forced out of bounds at the 22-yard line by Lawyer Malloy.
Take a look at Tutupu. I mean, we were wondering if he was going to be able to play today. He was coming to the outside. Just getting outrun a little bit. I mean, all the fundamentals that this Seattle team preaches, I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of it happen right now.
We've seen Greg Olsen in the pass game. There he is for you in the run game.
Yeah, he's
getting a good block on Will Herring.
Cutler on 3rd and 4, fires, and it's complete to a wide open Earl Bennett, who picks up a Bears first down at the Seahawks 11.
And this could be a little bit of the Devin Hester effect because he's coming right out behind Earl Bennett, number 8. There's 23 coming in. He's going to go to the middle. Everybody turns with him. Jordan Babineau spins, goes to chase in. That opens up that void for Earl Bennett.
13-yard completion. Cutler now 5 of 8 for 144 yards. 3 wide receivers, Forte the long back. The give to Forte on first down. And Forte gains 5 down to the 6-yard line.
Look at the rhythm that this Chicago offense has established here in the first half.
Closing in on 200 yards. Seahawks only 60 yards, 2 first downs. 3 tight ends. 2nd and 5 off a fake toss to Forte. Cutler has his pass batted back. Chris Clemens getting a piece of it.
Looking for Greg Olsen once again. If he gets that ball over, I think Greg Olsen gets in the end zone.
Well, he must have been excited coming into this game because he had to know during the course of the prep week that he was going to be featured in the game plan. Good job by Chris Clemens. I agree, Goose. You know, he doesn't get up there and get that ball tipped.
Now 3rd down and 5. Empty backfield. Forte in the slot to the left. Cutler will take it himself into the end zone for a Bears touchdown.
That's a pretty good finish on that run because I thought Jay Cutler actually made the wrong cut at the very beginning. I thought he should have gone out to the left right away. He comes back into the middle. Let's see what happens out to the left. He wants to follow the puller, then gets back outside. Jordan Babineau, bad angle.
Fight for the end zone.
Bad tackle.
Bears have scored touchdowns on 3 of their first 4 possessions. Now lead the Seahawks 21-0. Bears drive 9 plays, 63 yards. They now lead the Seahawks 21-0.
And the Greg Olsen show. Kenny Norton over there trying to get his linebackers and his defense sorted out. They just can't slow down this Chicago offense. They're in a great rhythm right now. You just need somebody to step up and make a play. And Leon Washington, it's his turn right now. Maybe he can get something here on this return to get a little bit of a spark for these Seattle Seahawks.
Ted Norton Jr., linebackers coach, former teammate of yours, Darryl, in Dallas.
Well, everything's going wrong with you today.
So the Seahawks will start from their own 20-yard line. Well, American Idol is back with a 2-night season premiere. You've heard all the talk, but now we are ready to sing an all-new season of extraordinary talent when TV's biggest phenomenon finally returns. American Idol now on Wednesdays and Thursdays, premiering this Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
They started the promotion too soon. I've been waiting for 3 weeks for this thing to get kicked off.
Me too. My kids are all fired up. My wife, I think, rules my house, Darryl.
For the next, what, 8 to 12 weeks?
8 to 12 weeks.
It's just 3 days away. On first down, the handoff to Forsett. And he's tackled by Urlacher. We've not seen much of Marshawn Lynch, only 2 carries so far today.
And right now, I don't think it matters. This Chicago defense is playing outstanding. And you see how many times the guys get hit. They can't get any rhythm. We've talked about Chicago's. Look at Seattle. 4 possessions, 3 of them are 3-and-outs.
They picked up only 2 first downs. They lost their tight end, John Carlson, early to a head injury as Hasselbeck completes it to Obamanu. And Ben Obamanu stopped a yard shy of the marker. Gain of 7.
This is a big snap right here. I mean, you're sitting 21-0 with just a little over 9 minutes to go here in the first half. They've got to be able to convert here.
Third down and 1. third down and a tremendous play. Goose talked about the matchup, but there is a flag. A late flag is thrown. Charles Tillman the coverage on Mike Williams.
Pass interference, number 38, defense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
They're going to be physical with Mike Williams on the outside. Charles Tillman is actually the defender, number 33.
Yeah, Tillman's got to give him a little bit of a break there. He can't hold on the whole time.
Alberto Riveron said 38. It is Tillman. Called for the pass interference. Pass intended for Stokely. But it hit the turf, so 2nd and 10 upcoming for Seattle.
One of the great things about blitzers is their timing. Lance Briggs hits this thing perfect. Watch 55. There he goes. Look at the timing he had on that blitz. He had a huge effect on that throw by Matt Hasselbeck.
Split backs, Forsett and Lynch, 3 wide receivers. 2nd and 10 for Seattle. Seahawks trail by 21. Hasselbeck sets, throws, and a diving attempt is made by Stokely. Goose, you remember Brandon Stokely well. Teammate of yours in Baltimore scored the first touchdown in Super Bowl 35 for the Ravens.
A great teammate. Nobody works harder than this guy. I tell you what, if you're a little guy and you want to be a wide receiver, that's the guy to go and watch film on. Brandon Stokely will give you everything he's got every time he's out there. He's a great, great player. Great teammate also.
Seahawks have not converted on 3rd down today. They are now 0 for 5. Obamanu, the intended receiver.
They are challenging every throw. I don't know what happened with Ben Obamanu on this. I don't know if he lost the ball in the snow flurries. Let's check the effort out here on the top of this post route. He's very, very late reacting to that ball.
Tell you what, Matt Hasselbeck is doing a great job of putting the ball where his receivers can catch it.
He's giving him the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
5 Seattle possessions, 5 punts. Fair catch back at the 26. Called for by Hester. All Bears, 21-0. The crowd here in Chicago disappointed when they do not get to see a Devin Hester return. Let's listen.
Every time he puts that fair catch hand up, and they're not going to go and see the exciting Devin Hester get a chance to run with the ball, everybody in the stadium gets disappointed.
A collective, little bit prior to the snap.
Ball start, number 68, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Left tackle Frank Omiel.
One of the first mistakes the offensive line has made today.
Well, they're so fired up that they're getting so many runs called. They get the fire off the ball, Darryl. You guys are loving it.
It's Mike Tice, offensive line coach, former head coach in Minnesota. Hester back out on the field. He's split to the left. On 1st and 15 following the penalty, Bears set up the screen for Matt Forte. He has a first down and more. Knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line by Earl Thomas. Forte gains 26.
And again, it could be the Devin Hester effect. You mentioned he split out wide to the left. You run screen back to your right. And watch this thing pop open. Roberto Garza, great job out front. Olin Kreutz down the field. Great hustle by the offensive line.
Cutler getting the ball into the hands of Forte, who accounted for 35% of the Bears' offense this season. Hester in motion. 1st and 10 from the 47. Cutler spins. He was looking for Hester. Incomplete.
Aaron Curry read that one. That's what you have to do. You have to beat him to the spot. And it's a great job by a linebacker. Most of the times we'll see a corner or a safety getting up and to get in the way. But that was a great job by Aaron Curry reading that and getting out right to where that throw was trying to be completed to Devin Hester.
You talked earlier about Bears wanting to use Hester between 30 and 40 plays on offense as Cutler hands it off to Forte, and he takes it into the Seahawks territory for a Bears first down.
Tell you what, Darryl, we talk about the offensive line and how athletic they are. Watch Olin Kreutz and Roberto Garza right here. Watch these two guys get to the outside and do a great job of opening it up for Forte. I'll tell you, these offensive linemen, Darryl, when we played, they weren't that athletic. What happened here?
I don't know. And you know the great thing, too, I mean, you have an incomplete on first down, 2nd and 10, and you get 12 on a run play.
These guys can move.
Come on, you guys aren't that old.
You feel it.
Cutler fires downfield, and getting a hand on it, Marcus Trufant. Pass was intended for Earl Bennett.
He's got time in the pocket now. If you're going to get these deep balls down the field, you've got to have time. Little play action fake. Look at that wall built by the offensive line. Absolutely fantastic. This is just great coverage by Marcus Trufant. And also, like, at the point of the catch, a lot of times we see people in good coverage, but they don't make a good play on the ball. Good job getting that hand across to get a deflection.
Chester Taylor in the backfield, 2nd and 10. From the Seattle 42, the toss to Taylor. Nice block thrown by Bennett. There is a flag as Taylor picks up the first down to the Seahawks 31-yard line.
That's their 2nd and 10 play, Goose, because Olin Kreutz and
Roberto Garza
were out there.
Hey, if it works, stick with it, Darryl. Same play, same pull, just a different guy running the ball. Chester Taylor instead of Matt Forte.
Personal foul, illegal crackback, number 23, offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
That's on Hester.
Devin Hester getting involved in the block here on this play also.
There goes 23, see him going down low right there, coming from the outside in.
Went low on Walter Thurmond.
That's how guys get hurt. Can't see the guy on the outside coming back. He's got to stay up.
What a first half for the Bears offense. Cutler has thrown for 170 yards. 3 big plays to Olsen, including a 58-yard touchdown pass on the Bears' first drive. Olsen over 100 yards. Cutler, first Bears quarterback with a postseason rushing touchdown since Jim McMahon in Super Bowl 20.
He didn't headbutt anybody, though, afterwards.
No. You know Cutler's excited, trying to silence some of his critics. We heard throughout this week about the fact that he has never started a postseason game. 2nd down and 21. Cutler with loads of time, complete to Johnny Knox. And Knox takes it to the Seattle 44-yard line, forced out by Will Herring. With the Bears leading the Seahawks 21-0 in this NFC Divisional playoff game, we welcome our armed forces serving in 175 countries and territories watching today's game on AFN, the American Forces Network. We hope you are enjoying today's broadcast.
Yeah, hello from Chicago to all our men and women in uniform around the world. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you very much. I was down at Fort Bliss on Monday also. All the Army people that I met down there. Just say hello to them. El Paso, Texas.
Cutler hit from behind by Raheem Brock. And the ball recovered by the rookie right tackle Jamarcus Webb.
You can tell this one just took a little bit too long to develop, and Jay Cutler's got to know. Jamarcus Webb pushes him beyond the pile, but then he steps up and he holds it again.
That's one thing of Mike Martz's offense is that 7-step drop. Darryl, we talk about it. Tell you what, it's a pass rusher's delight when a quarterback drops back that far. You know, it takes a long time for some of his plays to develop, but gives a lot of time for those defensive linemen to get on that quarterback. That's exactly what happened.
And how about Raheem Brock? His 18th playoff game, spent the last 8 years with the Colts. He's never missed the playoffs in 9 NFL seasons. Washington lets it go. And a tremendous play downfield by Corey Graham, who leads the entire league in special teams tackles. During the regular season, he downs it on the 1. The Seattle Seahawks, NFC Western Division champions at 7-9. Won their first postseason game last week at home over the defending Super Bowl champion Saints. Trail here in Chicago, 21-0. Inside handoff to Michael Robinson as the Seahawks start from the 1. Not much.
And it's really been just a great team effort by Chicago, all 3 phases. Offense, defense, special teams have the advantage right now over Seattle. Seattle's offense, they just can't get anything going. This Chicago defense is doing a great job. Jeremy Bates, tough first half for his crew out there on the offense.
They had opportunities, though, Darryl. Let's see how the Seahawks. Tell you what, Matt Hasselbeck has put the ball where some of his receivers could catch it. They just are not getting the job done.
5 possessions, Goose, 5 punts. 2nd and 9. Hasselbeck from the end zone puts one up for Williams off his hands. Tillman on the coverage.
You know what, Goose, but nothing's easy. All right, he's putting him in position. He's making great throws. But look at Charles Tillman. He's up on the line pressing him. That's the one thing you want to do against a big physical receiver. He gets his eyes back on the ball. They are challenging every throw.
They are definitely making him earn it.
Receiver set. Hasselbeck from the end zone on 3rd down and 9. The slant is caught for a first down by Ben Obamanu. Takes it out to the 14-yard line. A gain of 12.
Real basic fundamental route at the top of your screen. You get coverage off like that. He's able to get inside Tim Jennings.
Seahawks pick up only their 4th first down of this first half. Here's Marshawn Lynch up the middle. Lynch out to the 18-yard line, gain of 4.
And I think they need to get him more involved in this game, just from kind of an inspirational standpoint. He runs so physically. You know, get those guys on offense excited. He's in and off the field, off and on the field. This whole first half hasn't been able to establish any type of rhythm.
That was his first positive run today. Hasselbeck and Mike Williams out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Lance Briggs made the tackle. Williams slow to get up. Williams heads to the sidelines. 3rd down and 3 for Seattle. Stokely split out to the left. Obamanu in the slot. Hasselbeck looking for Golden Tate. And the pass is off Tate's right hand.
With Mike Williams out, Tillman goes over to Stokely. See him working out right here. Nice coverage right there. Matt Hasselbeck finds Golden Tate down the line. He had an opportunity to catch it with the one-hander there, Darryl. Just doesn't get it done.
Again, every throw is challenged by this Bears defense.
Six-time Ryan has punted today. And this will give the Bears terrific field position in Seahawks territory. Only a 23-yard punt. Well, Super Bowl Sunday is going to be a good night with the Bridgestone Super Bowl 45 halftime show starring the Black Eyed Peas. Sunday, February 6th only on Fox from Cowboy Stadium in Dallas.
So one of the
that's gonna. Sorry, no.
how amazing that is, Tony. They get that stage up there, the performance done just in that small window
Amazing.
at halftime.
It's amazing.
It's impressive to watch.
From the 44, quick out to Hester. Darryl, you played in 3 Super Bowls. Tony, you played in 1. Did you ever hear the halftime show bleeding into the locker room?
No, we never did. We never did.
No, we didn't either. But I'll tell you what's crazy about halftime, Kenny, is the amount of time that you have. You know, it's just, you know, you feel like you're in the locker room forever because you're so used to, you know, going in, 1, 2, 3, coming out. It's not like you didn't want as a player to get out there and check out that halftime show, though.
Halftime coming up here in Chicago in 2 minutes. Back in Chicago in the snow, Bears lead the Seahawks 21-0. 2 minutes remaining, second quarter. 2nd and 12 from the Seattle 46. Butler with time. Pass incomplete between Forte and Olsen. Well, coming up, the Visa halftime report from our studios in Los Angeles with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. First half analysis and a live chat with last year's NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Charles Woodson of the Green Bay Packers, who is keeping a close eye on this game.
Having another great season. And, you know, I don't think Green Bay's defense gets enough credit. The amount of guys that they've lost during the course of the year, still playing at a very, very high level. Don Capers done a great job.
Packers awaiting the winner of this one. 3rd down and 12. Cutler fires downfield, and he overthrows Olsen.
They dropped everybody back in coverage on this one, only a 3-man rush. So you've got 8 guys back in coverage. Again, they're trying to find that middle of the field. There had to be something they saw from Seattle's defense during the week of preparation, because a lot of their plays have been designed to attack the middle of the field in the Seattle defense.
Maynard punting to the sidelines. There is a flag as Maynard kept it away from Leon Washington.
During the kick, holding number 58, the offense. First down. It won't be enforced from the spot of the foul. Correction from the previous spot. Repeat 4th down.
Ron Wilson the penalty. Maynard will kick again. Lovie Smith told us on Friday, I feel good about our team. We are confident and we are healthy.
There was a definite sense of confidence when we visited with Chicago in all facets. And you know, I think the defensive performance they had against Green Bay the last week of the regular season, after they'd given up some points down the stretch to the Jets and some other teams, was a huge confidence boost for them. They were able to push away the offensive struggles, you know, because of all the improvement they had down the stretch in the second half.
Maynard's kick rolls inside the 20 and will be down by Corey Graham, with the Bears leading 21-0 in the final moments of this first half. What surprised you about this game so far?
Seattle's offense hasn't been able to get in any type of a rhythm. The fact that Jay Cutler and the Bears offense have played outstanding again, and they've been able to keep that balance. You know, being able to run the football, throw the ball effectively. Greg Olsen, I mean, who would have thought? You know, here you go, you got Earl Bennett, Devin Hester, Matt Forte, Chester Taylor, all these guys you think could have the big game, and it ends up being Greg Olsen here in the first half that's really been the difference.
Olsen scored the early touchdown on the 58-yard pass from Cutler. Hasselbeck over the top. And Ravel Martin picks up a first down. Seahawks with all 3 timeouts, a minute 15 remaining, second quarter. The slant is incomplete, intended for Mike Williams, who's back on the field, shaken up during the last Seahawks possession.
You know, looking at this first half, it's missed opportunities. Matt Hasselbeck, I think, is having a good game. He's putting the ball where he needs to put it to make his receivers go and make a play. But for some reason, the Bears are putting pressure and making them earn everything, but they're not catching the ball. That's something that they got to change in this second half or even in this drive.
Love the hat, Goose.
Thank you, Kenny.
2nd and 10. Hasselbeck, a pump fake, backpedals, now he throws, and the catch is made by Stokely out at the 35-yard line.
Everybody in here in Chicago wanted a hold on Russell Okung again on Julius Peppers on that play.
Seahawks use their first timeout. Cutler to Olsen early, 58 yards.
Third play of the game for the offense of the Chicago Bears. Hits him in stride. Great throw under these conditions. And then they just became methodical. Just up and down the field. Jay Cutler, nice job finishing that run for a touchdown.
Bears scoring on 3 of their first 4 possessions. Seahawks have been shut out so far after scoring 41 points. A franchise postseason record against New Orleans last Saturday. Hasselbeck moves to his right, in trouble. Down he goes, back at the 25-yard line. Tommy Harris.
That's what this defense is all about, getting pressure with the 4 guys. Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher up inside, showing blitz, but they back out. It's just the front 4. Tommy Harris on a little stunt coming to the outside. He's really picked up his level of play the last couple of weeks, taking over the starting job for Matt Toina. But you get Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher walked up in between the guard center. You get everybody focused on that. Then all of a sudden they're dropping out, they throw a twist. You're not in the right position as an offensive lineman to be able to react to that.
Well, how about the job this Bears defense has done? 7 Seattle possessions, 7 punts. Angled towards the sideline. Ryan not giving Hester any chance for a return. 43 seconds remaining in the second quarter here in Chicago. Visa halftime report coming up with Kurt and the gang from Los Angeles. They will dissect this first half and chat live with Charles Woodson of the Green Bay Packers, who await the winner of this game. Packers winning last night in Atlanta. Green Bay with 2 road wins in the postseason for the first time in franchise history, as Chris Clemens brings down Cutler back at the 25-yard line. The 3rd Seahawks sack today.
Doing the same thing, just bringing 4 guys in the rush, a little spin move inside.
And that is how the first half will end. For the Bears, their biggest halftime lead in the postseason since their only playoff meeting with Green Bay back in 1941. They led by 23 at the half. Today it's a 21-point lead over Seattle. The Visa halftime report is coming up next. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Bears over the Seahawks 21-0 as we get set for the second half here in Chicago. Kenny Albert along with Darryl Johnston. Not much went right for the Seahawks over the first 30 minutes. What must they do better in the second half?
Well, they've got nothing to hold in their back pocket. You've got to play very aggressive in this half. It starts off with their defense on this opening series. Chicago's going to get the ball first. So I know they had 3 sacks in the first half, but it felt, in my opinion, that Jay Cutler was far too comfortable back in the pocket. So they've got to do something to get some pressure. They've got to be able to start moving the ball. There's no consistency with what they're doing on their offense. Matt Hasselbeck is putting guys in position to make plays. They've got to finish those plays. There's too many drops, too many potential big plays out there that they've let slip through their hands, literally.
Rasheed Davis tosses it back to Devin Hester. And Hester is brought down at the 22-yard line. Goose, you spoke with Pete Carroll at the half. What did he have to say?
I talked to him going in. I asked him what he needs to do in the second half. He said, first thing we need to do, our receivers need to get some separation so Matt can go and find them, get the ball to him. They can make some of the catches that they're dropping right now. And he also talked, like Darryl said, about losing 2 tight ends, Chris Baker and John Carlson. It really affected his game plan and what he wanted to do with the short passes. So we'll see what he does here in the second half, guys.
Baker injured a couple of weeks back, a veteran tight end. Seahawks lost the third-year tight end, Carlson, early in this game. Cutler handing it off to Matt Forte. And Forte is knocked out of bounds at the 28-yard line by Marcus Trufant.
Darryl, you don't know how important a tight end is till you don't have one, right?
Exactly, and especially when it's a spot on your roster that's a little thin because of injuries to begin with. And John Carlson had such a big impact on the game last week. To lose him on that first series, as Pete Carroll said, it really impacts your game plan because you worked all week long anticipating that he would be there for you all game.
Yeah, people need to understand that a tight end is not just a receiver, a guy who goes out and catches the ball. He's also an offensive lineman, a guy who can block and give you that little bit of edge and get to those linebackers and really give you a little bit more time.
Forte out to the 30. So the Bears now facing a 3rd down and 5. Chicago scoring touchdowns on 3 of their first 4 possessions in the first half. Bears 0 for 12 on 3rd down in the regular season matchup with Seattle. Better run today on 3rd down. Cutler short, intended for Earl Bennett, so the Bears will punt.
When you go in at halftime, you're going to have a series of things that you need to accomplish when you come onto the field. There's number 1 right there for the Seattle defense. Hey, you guys got to go out. You've got to force a 3 and out on this first series. Get our offense back out on that field.
Tate and Washington back deep. Good kick by Maynard, taken at the 24 by Golden Tate. And the rookie out of Notre Dame brings it back the 11 yards out to the 35. Garrett Wolf, the tackle. Well, the temperature has dropped 2 degrees since the opening kickoff, but the snow has stopped. As the Seahawks start from their own 35, and Marshawn Lynch is bottled up. Only 3 carries for 2 yards for Lynch in the first half.
You talked about the weather changing, Kenny, and when we went away at halftime, we had some snow out there on the field, and this is why it's so clear right now.
They did a great job. They had all these guys out there with backpacks blowing the snow around and got all over the place. And it came out, it looked like they had a tarp on the whole time, or they melted it or something. They just blew it all off.
Those guys move pretty fast, Goose.
Army of ants, baby.
On 2nd and 10, here's Forsett. And he runs right into Julius Peppers.
I think when you talked about Julius Peppers coming to the Chicago Bears, automatically you talked about pressure on the quarterback, and he had 8 sacks this year, but everybody that you talk to on this defense, he's irreplaceable. His athleticism, he chases guys downfield. He's so much better in run defense than people ever give him credit for. His hustle down the line, I think his biggest impact has been in that area, more so than the passing game and getting to the quarterback.
Peppers headed to his 6th Pro Bowl, 3rd down and 10. Hasselbeck's pass intended for Williams, and it hit off Charles Tillman, forcing yet another Seattle 3 and out.
Great recognition by Charles Tillman of the route, and there he's doing some push-ups because he dropped an interception. That's the penalty for the Bears when you make a mistake, when you have an opportunity for a turn. Watch him drop. See him drop? Brandon Stokely right there? He's got Stokely on the hitch. He sees the route going in behind him, drops off that, almost gets the interception.
and then dropped down for 10. Ryan punting for the 8th time. Hester's had only one opportunity to return a punt today. Took it back 26 yards. Hester heading for the sidelines, forced out at the 30. Would you like to join him, Goose?
No, I would not.
Back in Chicago with producer Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Chicago Bears, 230 yards over their first 4 drives. Not much since, but they lead the Seahawks by 21. Out to the 35-yard line, Matt Forte. Lofa to Tupu with the tackle, gain of 5.
Again, can't say enough about this offensive line of the Chicago Bears and how they've progressed the latter part of the season, and you can see it. They're hitting their stride right as the most important part of the season comes around too. And they have really controlled the line of scrimmage against this Seattle front. Mike Tice has just done an outstanding job, and there's so many different starting lineups in the beginning of the season. He finally settled on one and has raised their level of play throughout the year.
Mike, a former tight end, long-time tight end with the Seahawks. Forte gains 3 more. And you talked about all the shuffling early in the season, but his line has started together the last 9 games, and the Bears went 7-2 during that stretch.
Yeah, it's been impressive to watch, and we had him here, you know, in the latter part of the year. There were probably 3-4 games into that against Philadelphia, and that was the big talk. Hey, we finally settled on our starting 5. We're really coming together, getting used to playing next to each other and understanding, you know, where we struggle, where we need help, what we do well, and they just kept getting better and better as the year wound down. And look at the time for Cutler in the pocket. Are you kidding me?
Loads of time on 3rd and 2, and he will run for a first down. Cutler gains 8 as the Bears move the chains.
And this is one of the areas that I think Jay Cutler hasn't got enough credit for. This is really another part of that evolving of this offense down the second half of the season is his decisions to pull the ball down. Devin Aromashodu lucky he didn't get a block in the back right there at the end of that run.
Knocking down Chris Clemens. They ran into Isatino Isamoa on the sidelines. Here's Forte. Darryl, you mentioned that win over Philadelphia Sunday after Thanksgiving. That was really one of the high points of the regular season for Chicago. The Eagles and Michael Vick were so hot at the time, and the Bears won that game 31-26.
And they still didn't silence a lot of their critics. At that time, Philadelphia was the hottest team, maybe not just the NFC, but maybe in the NFL. Michael Vick didn't have a turnover up until that point, and this Bear defense just came out and completely took that game over, and Jay Cutler had a great game offensively for the Bears. So even in a statement game like that, there was still uncertainty about how good this Bears team actually was.
2nd down and 9 off the play fake. Cutler to Forte, and Forte takes it down to the 44-yard line, close to a Bears first down. He's got it. And you know, so much of the perception of this Bears team outside of Chicago came early in the season when Cutler was sacked 9 times in the first half by the New York Giants.
When you have a bad performance on the national stage, it's tough to erase that from people's memories. So for a long time, the Chicago Bears were simply the team that gave up 10 sacks to the New York Giants on a Sunday night. And they've never really been able to get out from underneath that stigma.
Cutler suffered a concussion in that game. Todd Collins started the next week in Carolina. And then Cutler came back the week after that against Seattle. Here's Hester. Devin Hester takes it down to the Seattle 38.
That's good recognition right there by Jay Cutler, because he saw Devin Hester in one-on-one coverage with Lawyer Malloy, and he is just too quick for that type of matchup. There he is on the outside. Here comes Lawyer Malloy, one-on-one, out on the perimeter.
Trufant came to his rescue real quick, though, Darryl.
You know, you think back to the last time the Bears were in the playoffs, they reached Super Bowl 41. Hester was a defensive back at the time. Second down and 4. Forte wrapped up by Clemens with help from Tutupu. Cutler has thrown for 192 yards. Also ran for a score. Forte, 55 yards on the ground, and Greg Olsen with a huge first half.
Yeah, he was the difference in the first half.
Third down and 5. Cutler again, loads of time, fires downfield, complete for a first down to Johnny Knox at the 24-yard line of Seattle. 15-yard pass play.
You've been talking about it all day, Darryl. The offensive line for the Chicago Bears. Watch them. They just stone him. Look at Cutler back there, looking downfield, patting the ball, shuffles over a little bit, clear lanes downfield to find Knox. And that's how it's done. Wow.
That's just too long. I mean, look at Johnny. He's waiting on it. I mean, it wasn't even anything that was based on timing. He's like, come on, I'm open, Jay. Throw me the ball.
Seattle's got to find a way to get a pass rush going. They got to bring one of the, a fifth guy.
They might need to bring more than 5.
Yeah.
Off the fake to Forte. Catch is made by Kellen Davis, and then he's upended by Trufant, who is shaken up. Trufant losing the battle with the 6'7", 260-pound tight end.
Yeah, but he goes down low around the knees, and he turns his head sideways, catches a knee. Exactly, Tony, right in the side of the head.
Yeah, watch his knee hit his helmet. Boom, right there.
So the Seahawks medical staff tending to the former Pro Bowler Trufant. Back in Chicago with the Bears leading the Seahawks 21-0. Marcus Trufant is the injured Seahawk, senior member of the Seattle defensive unit, as he went low to make the tackle on Kellen Davis.
And his
something hard to avoid, Darryl.
Yeah, the size. Kenny mentioned how big he is, Goose, and you come in and you're going to try and go low to make that tackle, and you can see he catches that knee right in the side of the head.
Yeah, almost an ear hole, and just jars his head to the side. They brought the board out to go and strap him down, and the cart's here again.
I know. Second time today. Gosh.
Seahawks lost tight end John Carlson to a head injury earlier. Carlson has been taken to a local hospital for observation. And now Marcus Trufant is down on the field with just under 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Players on both sidelines obviously very concerned. Trufant, Pro Bowler back in 2007. Grew up in the state of Washington in Tacoma. His 8th season in Seattle. Cutler and Stokely, former teammates in Denver. They'll be back. Bears leading the Seahawks 21-0. Marcus Trufant still down on the field here in Chicago as we bring in our NFL rules guru, the longtime vice president of officiating for the National Football League, Mike Pereira. Mike, such an emphasis on player safety, and you were telling us during the break that knee pads might become mandatory.
Yeah, actually they've worn less protection lately. I mean, and they don't wear knee pads, they don't wear hip pads, they don't wear thigh pads, and the league has now looked into doing that and developed an undergarment that actually these pads are built into, because you see a hit like this and just maybe that quarter inch, maybe that quarter inch of protection might make the difference from a concussion or a major injury like this. And I think when they see this again and this type of injury, you'll see those hip pads and you'll see the knee pads and the thigh pads next year.
I had 2 really bad concussions during my playing days, and both were very similar to that. A knee to the side of the head, getting up from a block, and somebody tried to jump over me, and I wore everything. I had thigh pads hip pads, knee pads, and I think sometimes guys are like, well, if I hurt my knee, I hurt my knee. No, 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 no. It's not just for you. And I agree with you. Just that little bit of foam there maybe cushions that blow enough where we don't have a situation like we have with Marcus right now.
Yeah, and I think they've seen that in a couple of injuries in the last couple of years, and that's why the Commissioner Goodell and Ray Anderson are really emphasizing making this mandatory, not voluntary, mandatory.
Absolutely.
So Marcus Trufant headed back to the Seahawks locker room, and we appreciate Mike Pereira making the trip from Atlanta early this morning following last night's Packers-Falcons game. Forte down inside the 15, close to a Bears first down. Brandon Bebe in the tackle.
Getting to the edge, Tony, we talked about how good Chicago's defense is at setting the edge and forcing things back into the inside of that defense. Right there, the Chicago offense able to extend the edge, actually pushing it backwards, giving Matt Forte a big room to run on the outside.
Yeah, Matt Forte and Chester Taylor both on a lot of their runs have a choice to make. They can go to the right or left. There's a lot of holes being opened up on that line of scrimmage. This offensive line is really dominating the Seattle Seahawks defensive line right now.
And Goose on 3rd and 1. Forte picks up a Bears first down.
Always got to remember to pick your feet up as a running back. It looked like Matt Forte on this one had an opportunity. One of the interior linemen, was Raheem Brock, reached up and just grabbed his ankle as he went by when he was on the ground. That's an impressive drive right there. You got a big lead. The best thing you want to do is take time off the clock. Very impressive by the Chicago offense with this type of drive right here.
12th play of the drive. It's Forte up the middle. Colin Cole wraps him up. Bears over 300 yards of total offense today. Darryl, you mentioned earlier, Lovie Smith brought in Mike Martz as offensive coordinator. One of the big stories during the offseason, how did it work with Martz and Cutler? It's worked to near perfection today.
It really has, and there was going to be some growing pains. It's difficult to learn a new system, the terminology, everything that goes with it. So there were going to be some bumps in the road, and then early on I think they struggled with a little bit, and they've opened it up and do some different things like this with the Wildcat.
Cutler split out to the right as the handoff goes from Forte to Chester Taylor. We're told the report on Trufant is a head injury. Did have a feeling in all of his extremities.
When a player potentially loses consciousness on the field, one of the things that they have decided to do is to put them onto the board just to make sure, just as a precautionary measure. So two of our injuries today falling into that category.
Cutler moving to his right, inside the 5, to the end zone. And Jay Cutler has his second rushing touchdown today.
He has really played well. He's thrown the ball well, and I've been impressed since early in the year when we saw Chicago. His decision-making when he decides to run. Very decisive here. That looked like it was supposed to be a shovel pass that was played very well by Lofa Tatupu. He stayed with Matt Forte and didn't allow it to happen. And instead of trying to force something that wasn't there, Jay Cutler just tucks it down and goes for the pylon.
Cutler, one rushing TD during the regular season, has 2 in this game. And the Bears now lead the Seahawks 28-0. Well, some of the fans here in Chicago have already started to think ahead to an NFC Championship matchup with the Green Bay Packers.
And I still say that Week 17 matchup at Lambeau Field, Chicago had an opportunity to knock Green Bay out of the playoffs. It would have been the Giants or the Buccaneers coming in if they lost. And you can see why they wanted them out of the playoffs after you watched them last night against Atlanta.
Leon Washington, big return. He's across midfield and forced out of bounds at the 30. We told you how explosive Washington can be, and he returns the kickoff 62 yards.
Well, they're running out of time, Seahawks. If they're going to go and do something, they got to do it right now. They got a little bit of momentum with this run back. Let's see what their offense can go and put together.
A little stiff arm at the end.
Robbie Gould. Did a good job of getting him out of bounds, though.
That's his job. He's the last line of defense. Force him to the sideline.
Hasselbeck over the middle to Stokely. Stokely gains 9 to the 21.
Gonna hurry up offense right here, Matt Hasselbeck.
It will be the rest of the game.
Yeah. And he's good in the 2 minute there. Hurry up offense is his forte.
Swings it out to Forsett. And Forsett knocked out at the 19-yard line by Tino Isamoa.
If you're playing against the Chicago Bears defense, the one thing you don't want to do is come to a complete stop when you try to cut back inside, because you're going to have pursuit coming at you, and you are going to get hit really hard.
I hate when you say exactly what I'm going to say or thinking. You know, I just see that. I see him going, slowing down, ready for the cut back on the inside. And there it is. I'm ready to open my mouth. You just say exactly what I'm thinking. That Bears defense, they run to the ball. You do not want to go and cut, get upfield, and get upfield fast.
That's the result of 19 straight weekends together, Goose. Williams slipped. Mike Williams, the intended receiver, fell down.
And that's another area of this game that is completely different from the first time these two teams played back in October. Mike Williams was a huge factor in that game, and he has been a non-factor. Charles Tillman has done an awesome job taking him out of the game this afternoon.
Lovie Smith told us on Friday we did not press Williams enough in that first meeting. And the plan was to keep Tillman matched up with Williams today. And he's done a terrific job. 3rd down and 8.
Not only did they not press, but they didn't match. They've matched today.
Hasselbeck off the pump fake, now throws. End zone, too far for Stokely, but there is a flag.
He got
out of
it,
the coverage. Bears say the ball was uncatchable.
But you never know. Was it uncatchable because the contact was made?
Illegal contact, number 33, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's like one of those little bubble screens on the outside. The inside receiver would come down and normally block here, but then he takes off on the route. And there's the contact right there. It's a good call. It's beyond the 5 yards. The ball's out of the end zone, so Lovie does have a complaint that it was uncatchable.
Matt Hasselbeck did a great job of pump faking to the right-hand side, not looking back to Stokely and letting Stokely work to try and get open. And then turn to go and throw him the ball and give him an opportunity.
By the way, Bears have lost safety Chris Harris to a hip injury, replaced by DJ Moore. 1st and 10 following the penalty.
Don't come back inside. Go to the corner.
Taken down to the 9-yard line by Michael Robinson.
Are you watching the same game I'm watching?
Robinson shaken up.
Wow. We talked to Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, and he describes this defense as physical. You know, when you talk about the Tampa, you hear a lot of zone, but his thing is we've got 11 eyes to the ball, and everybody's watching it, and we run, and we get to the point of attack. Now, when Michael Robinson is going to the sideline, if he just pushes it and tries to get as much as he can going north, if you stop and plant and come back inside, you're going to have Brian Urlacher. You're going to have Lance Briggs. Those guys are coming at you full speed. It's all about pursuit in this defense, and he calls it a very, very physical style of defense. And it's something that I didn't really think about. And he challenges guys, you know, can you hold up the entire 60 minutes of this game taking those types of hits? Then all of a sudden, the 3rd quarter, the 4th quarter, the ball starts ending up on the ground. And now you got an offense that's controlling the flow all day long. This defense is rested. They've been on the sideline.
Hustle will eliminate all those big plays, he said too, Darryl. It's exactly, I mean, you can't say it any better than that. Run to the ball. It's the little things that make a difference. That's when you get turnovers and the ball's on the ground, hustling to the ball.
Now 2nd down and 7, 4 wide receivers, and the pass is off the hands of Golden Tate.
Yeah, there was no whistle.
Loose ball.
That was a backward pass, Matt. Matt Hasselbeck was in front of the 15-yard line. That ball was caught beyond the 15-yard line.
The pass was ruled backwards, recovered by Seattle. 3rd down.
think after watching the game yesterday with the Ravens and the Steelers, when that ball was on the ground and no one was even looking at it, picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown, if these guys would have saw that yesterday and said, hey, listen, when the ball's on the ground, anytime, get on it. You never know what could happen.
Great play by Corey Redding of the Ravens last night. 3rd down and 9. Hasselbeck spins away from pressure. Now he throws to the end zone. Golden Tate. Charles Tillman made contact, no flags.
Now this is just a situation where you've got to have points. You've got to have the 7 points. Julius Peppers again just being a factor. He's not getting the sack, but he's absolutely collapsing the pocket, forcing Matt Hasselbeck to drift backwards, and he's just trying to get the ball up in an area where Golden Tate can make a play.
Tillman got away with one there, Darryl.
Interesting decision here, down 28.
30-yard attempt. Olindo Mare from the right hash. Ryan places it down. And Mare's kick is straight through. So the Seahawks are on the board with 1:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter. They now trail 28-3.
I think he loves the game as much as his players do.
9 seasons at USC, 2 national titles, returning to the National Football League. But a tough one today for Seattle after beating New Orleans last week. Well, Terry Kurt and the NFL on Fox All-Stars are heading to Hawaii for a Pro Bowl party with a special enhanced broadcast with more Mike players than ever before. Super Bowl week kicks off with the 2011 Pro Bowl Sunday, January 30th, only on Fox. Now, 4 Bears were selected, but Brian Urlacher, Julius Peppers, Lance Briggs, and Devin Hester hope that they will not be going to Hawaii. The Pro Bowl now the week before the Super Bowl, and players from Super Bowl teams, of course, will not go.
Dallas is a nice place that time of year.
Seahawks will not send any players to the Pro Bowl. Last week, Seattle became the 3rd team in history without a Pro Bowl selection to win a postseason game.
You know, Brian Urlacher, going to the Pro Bowl, but he thought Charles Tillman should have went. I mean, really upset about, the way he played, not getting the respect that he deserves. And I'll tell you what, after watching Charles Tillman today shut down every receiver he's on, I'm sort of in his corner.
Means we'll probably go next year. Here's Danielle Manning. Manning up the sidelines. Nice return, and a penalty flag comes flying in. Ron Wilson slow to get up. Now running off the field.
During your return, holding number 69, receiving team, half the distance of the goal, 1st down.
That's on Henry Melton as Bears training staff checks on Wilson on the sideline.
Football's about blocking and tackling, but you have to know when you're allowed to do one or the other. When you're blocking, you can't be tackling. That's what happens when you put those big defensive linemen in an offensive position.
Whoa, watch.
The old offense-defense argument once again. I have to separate Darrell and Tony at least 5 times per season. Justin Taylor out to the 15-yard line, gain of 6.
This stadium made defensive linemen very famous there with the Refrigerator Perry. Scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Darrell, you forget that?
No.
You were just mad that you thought that all defensive linemen are going to become tight ends.
And Goose, funny you should mention it, the 25th anniversary of Super Bowl 20 coming up January 26th, 10 days from now. Bears over the New England Patriots. Jim McMahon, 2 rushing touchdowns in that game. Jay Cutler with 2 here today. How about all of the head coaches that 85 Bears team has produced? Mike Singletary recently let go by the 49ers. Leslie Frazier, the new head coach under Buddy Ryan, and Rex Ryan, the Jets head coach, along with his brother Rob, they were ball boys for the '85 Bears.
I did not know that one.
Got to start somewhere.
Timeout taken by the 2010 Bears.
Timeout, Chicago. This is your first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
And that, of course, was the last Bears championship. Bears hope to be playing in Arlington on February 6th. Super Bowl Sunday is going to be a good night. The Bridgestone Super Bowl 45 halftime show starring the Black Eyed Peas, Sunday, February 6th, only on Fox from Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. We are down to 6 teams, 3 in the NFC, 3 in the AFC. You know, Goose, you were wearing your championship ring from the 2000 Ravens to our meetings with the Bears, and Lovie Smith walked into our meeting room and he said, "Tony, you're blinding me. That thing's so big."
Hey, listen, you know, Darryl has 3. He only wears one at a time, Darryl, but you know, when you're in the the playoffs and this is what you're going for right here, you know, you're sort of going and saying, "Listen, I will do anything to get one of these." And Lovie Smith was really passionate about wanting one, so I'm not surprised that his Bears coming out and playing the way they are today.
One of his starting quarterbacks, Tim Jennings, won a Super Bowl ring with the Colts, and he had his ring around the facility this week. The Bears are 1 quarter away from a trip to the NFC Championship game. They would host the Green Bay Packers here next Sunday. After 3 quarters in Chicago, it's the Bears 28, the Seahawks 3. We start the 4th quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago, with the Bears leading the Seahawks 28-3. Chicago won the NFC North with a record of 11-5, number 2 seed by last week. Seattle, NFC West champions, went over New Orleans. They trailed 28-3 as Chester Taylor takes it out to the 22-yard line. Gain of 2.
The impressive part about Chicago here in the second half is they are doing exactly what Seattle could not allow to happen, is just kind of grinding this clock out with a very methodical offense, heavy run, converting on 3rd down. Very impressive. The big plays early in the game to get the lead, and now just kind of grinding this clock out here in the second half.
2nd down and 8. Cutler looking to throw. Again has time off the hands of Johnny Knox.
This offensive line of protection, Seattle has not even gotten close. You just have to look at this. Just watch what this line does on this protection. They're just going to build a wall. I mean, nobody's getting anywhere. There's no movement. Look at Jay Cutler back there. That's impressive. I mean, for a team that just caused Chicago fits earlier in the year with pressure on the quarterback, and they got 6 sacks. Today, this offensive line has just been outstanding.
3rd down and 8. 4 receivers. Cutler steps away from the pressure, and he will run for another 1st down. .21 yards.
Not a lot of success by quarterbacks in their first starts in the playoffs, and Jay Cutler was in that position today, and he's been great. The quick decision right there. We just talked about them not getting a lot of pressure. Well, the first time they do, he makes the decision right away, pulls the ball down, and gets north and south.
I like how he dives and not slides, Darryl.
Well, not a lot of technical points for that.
I'll tell you what, I like how he dives into the end zone, the 2 end zone runs he had. I'll tell you what.
Wildcat formation for the 3rd time. Forte looking to throw. And it's intercepted at the 45-yard line by Aaron Curry.
Mike Martz is shocked on that one, why he threw that ball. Wow.
Yeah, you tell the running back in that situation, you tell Matt Forte, listen, if it's not there, just tuck it and run with it. You're a running back at heart. You're not a quarterback. Don't scramble around and try and fit one into tight coverage.
He sees Devin Hester coming across the middle and just doesn't see Curry out there coming back towards Hester.
I guarantee you he only saw number 23. He didn't see anybody in a white jersey. He was going to fit that one in.
And then Forte makes the tackle. First pass attempt by Forte in his NFL career. Now Hasselbeck backpedaling on the pressure from DJ Moore.
There's the smarts of Matt Hasselbeck. He's got a viable receiver right there, throws it at his feet.
Number 20 is in the vicinity, therefore it is an incomplete pass. Second down.
He sold it real quick too, didn't he? To Alberto Riveron.
Just understanding what the rules of the game are, where your outs are. DJ Moore drives Justin Forsett back in pass protection.
Watch right now. He just looks right at the official. Oh,
Yeah.
He cut it off.
Yeah, there was a guy there.
There was a guy there.
Fortunately for Hasselbeck, there was. Pass in the vicinity of Forsett. Now 2nd and 10, Moore coming again. Hasselbeck complete to Stokely. And he dives. Close to a first down. Marked out just shy of the 23.
Well, the Bears have been pretty complacent all game, but in this series, they've blitzed.
Every down. They're bringing them.
Quarterbacks love when their running backs keep them clean.
So they're coming again, Darryl.
Hasselbeck looking for Mike Williams. As we have seen all afternoon long, Charles Tillman on the coverage.
Well, because of the season that he's had this year, Mike Williams is going to have to get used to this. He may get the best defender from each team next year on him, matched up the entire game, and he's going to have to learn how to compete. Charles Tillman probably could not wait for the opportunity to lock him down all afternoon today, and has done a fantastic job.
I talked about it in the open. That's the matchup that I really wanted to see what happened. I'll tell you what, Tillman's just shutting him down today.
Seahawks leave the offense on the field, 4th down and 1. Hasselbeck to the outside, and it's picked off by Jennings, intended for Stokely. There is a flag.
Pass interference, number 26. Defense, automatic first down.
We've been talking about it all game. You know, in the man-to-man situations, they are just challenging every single throw. It is a physical battle out on the perimeter in this passing game. And it doesn't matter. It's either Charles Tillman or Tim Jennings. Everybody in the secondary.
New set of downs for Seattle from the 19-yard line. Over the top, Williams, the intended receiver. The hit by Major Wright.
There's where that physical element that Rob Marinelli talked about is. You're back in coverage. You got the eyes on the quarterback. You can see the ball, and you come up and you make the big hit at the point of the catch.
Mike Williams, former head coach in Detroit, Rod Marinelli. Four receivers set, 2nd and 10. Hasselbeck to Stokely.
I'm surprised Matt Hasselbeck got that ball off. Somebody came scot-free right up the middle. It's unbelievable that Matt got that ball off. Take a look right here.
Henry Melton.
Wow. Everybody's worried about those linebackers. That's a big hit. You know, he can't brace. The one thing about Matt Hasselbeck, when you see his left hand, he has a brace on his wrist, so when you tackle him like that, he doesn't stick his arm out to brace himself, so, you know, he takes those hits on that left arm. It's big.
Stokely makes the catch for Seahawks first down. That's how he hurt his hip initially, Goose. He was unable to brace a fall. So he winds up injuring the left hip, and he's already had fluid drain from that left hip 3 different times. First and goal from the Chicago 2. Hasselbeck throws one up. Williams, the intended receiver. Again, Tillman on the coverage.
Wow, Charles Tillman is just stoning Mike Williams at the line of scrimmage. I mean, just throwing the timing off. Watch Tillman right here. That's inside 5 yards. He gets on top of him, and there's just no timing. That Hasselbeck looking over to the right. He likes something. That's one of the... He's not fixing his hair right there. That's a signal to Mike Williams that the ball's coming to you.
Michael Robinson back in, suffered an injury to his ribs earlier. Hasselbeck on second down, corner of the end zone, intended for Obamanu.
Same thing on Obamanu.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of these types of routes in these situations where it's kind of a jump ball into the back corner of that fade. Mike Williams didn't even come off the line of scrimmage, so he allows his defender to drop back into the play also.
Wide receivers for the Seahawks. Third and goal from the 2.
There's Brandon Stokely right here.
Hasselbeck, end zone, touchdown, Mike Williams.
Well, they finally did something with formation, and Mike Williams, they put him right here. So you keep him in the slot. That way you get Danielle Manning on him. There's Charles Tillman in the back corner working against Golden Tate. So they haven't matched him all the way across formation just when he's been on the outside. But if he's gone into the slot, he's got a different cover guy. Good recognition by Matt Hasselbeck.
Murray, the extra point. Bears lead is now 28-10. Back in Chicago, there's Olindo Mare, who has attempted more onside kicks and has been successful more than any other active kicker. Will we see it here?
I think you have to. 11:21 to go, down 18. And he's got him turned. Oh, he's going to try and get into that little void area down the field. Not a bad try right there. There's a big gap between that front line and Devin Hester all the way in the back.
Johnny Knox ran it down. Bears football. The Green Bay Packers sitting at home watching.
Is that Goose? Goose, you still got your jacket on?
No, I'm in the corner, all rubbing bellies over here. Drinking some brews. Guys are nuts.
You staying warm, Goose?
Yes, I am, Kenny.
From the 26-yard line. Butler handing it off. Forte as we approach 11 minutes remaining, fourth quarter here in Chicago.
How you guys doing up in that booth? I heard Kenny standing on a heating pad. Is that true?
No, he's standing under a heater.
Where?
Right above you. I can feel it coming down. There's nothing above me.
Kenny,
right?
That's a tanning. That's a tanning light right there on Kenny.
Felt a thing.
There's nothing up here.
There's
nothing above me. I know that.
Ken, hey, you need some new. You definitely need some new tanning lights there, Kenny. They're not working.
Goose, did you catch us during the pregame show? Overcoats off.
Oh, you're tough.
The screen, Forte, first down.
Oh, nice cut.
Matt Forte all the way out to the 47-yard line. Gain of 19.
Hey, you know, the last couple of series, they've just been pounding it at the Seattle front, running the football. Now, little screen pass right there. That's a good job by Olin Kreutz, because Colin Cole is going to be able to get in and make that play. The peel back element of the screen pass is always overlooked. We always see the guys who are out front throwing the great blocks, but the offensive lineman that's responsible for turning back and getting the defensive lineman or linebacker that recognizes his screen and starts to trail it.
Another big day for Matt Forte. Taylor in the backfield. Cutler, the slant, knocks into Seahawks territory to the Seattle 47. What a day it has been for Jay Cutler. His last postseason game, senior year in high school for Heritage Hills High School. Beat Zionsville in the championship game in overtime. His numbers today against the Seattle Seahawks.
And the 46 rushing yards. You know, it's been a part of what Jay Cutler has brought as a quarterback to Chicago this latter part of the season. Been very, very good with his decisions and running the football.
He's outrushed the Seahawks by 20 yards himself. Here's Chester Taylor, and he has a Bears first down.
Great job by Chester Taylor staying in bounds also. You see how he went down. Veteran move right there, Darryl.
Just little things. You know a team is well coached and fundamentally sound when they do all the little things. You know, don't keep fighting and get dragged out of bounds. Get turned back up. As you pointed out, Tony, go down. Let that clock continue to run.
Terrific balance. Bears have run the ball 36 times for 162 yards. Forte leading the way with a lot of help from Taylor and Cutler. That pass is dropped by Olsen, who had a huge first half, 3 receptions for 113 yards and a touchdown.
I don't know if he enjoys himself all the time. I mean, he was so mad at that throw right there. At some point, he's just got to sit back and have a little bit of fun. In a situation like this, he's had a great afternoon. He's controlled the offense, executed well, made good decisions. He's got to just have a little bit of fun, too.
Has not turned the ball over.
There's the key.
Here's Taylor. The only Bears turnover, the pass throw by Forte. That was picked off by Curry. So the Chicago Bears now 8 minutes away from their first postseason matchup with the Green Bay Packers since December 14th, 1941.
That's amazing to me, that this will only be the second time that Green Bay and Chicago have played in the postseason.
The Bears have played Seattle more times in the postseason than they've played Green Bay. Butler gets rid of the football. He was under pressure. Throws it out of bounds. So we take you back to December 14th, 1941, 7 days after the attacks on Pearl Harbor. Postseason, Green Bay and Chicago. Norm Stanley with 2 touchdown runs. Bears win it 33-14.
And that was in high definition, right, Kenny?
And color. Bears would go on to beat the Giants 1 week later for the NFL title. Head coaches in that game, Goose, as you well know, George Halas and Carly Lambeau.
I tell you what, we talk about the return men being a big part of special teams, but Chicago's just been flawless in their execution in that phase today.
Fans on their feet here in Chicago. Band members having a good time. Seahawks were a loose, confident group when we visited with them yesterday, but they fall behind early. Chicago scored on their 3rd offensive play. Bears led 21-0 at halftime. It's now 28-10. Hasselbeck from the end zone, dumping it off to Justin Forsett, and he picks up a first down, chased down by Lance Briggs after a gain of 15.
And they fell in right to the style of football that the Bears love to play. Get a lead offensively and then let this defense come out onto the field and protect it. And it's so hard to get anything over the top, to get those big splash plays against this defense. It's so hard to come back from a big deficit.
Hasselbeck's pass out to the 27-yard line. Van Obamanu, the intended receiver.
You talked about it earlier, Darryl, about that secondary of the Chicago Bears. Just all their eyes on Matt Hasselbeck and going and moving and flowing all together, and everybody, after that ball is thrown, everybody conversion on that ball. You're right. It's very difficult to get a big play on this defense.
Second and 10, and that pretty much epitomizes Williams' day.
Yeah, he's been a non-factor. And, you know, Tony mentioned it at the top. It was a matchup he was going to watch, and Matt Hasselbeck felt it was somebody that he would always be able to go to. You know, regardless of the situation, that he felt he could get the ball to Mike Williams, and he's just never been able to get into a rhythm. And I agree, Kenny. That kind of sums it up, what his day was like right there. A nice, easy catch, and puts it on the ground.
Hasselbeck on 3rd and 10. Down he goes. Back at the 13-yard line. Tommy Harris has had a big day.
And this is another one of those parts of this defense, you know, when you're behind and you have to throw, and Julius Peppers and Tommy Harris and Israel Adonijah and Henry Melton can just come after that quarterback. It's awful tough on that offensive line.
John Ryan back to punt for the 9th time today. Fair catch called for. Listen to it again. Collective groan from the crowd here at Soldier Field. Julius Peppers and the Chicago Bears 6 minutes, 17 seconds away from wrapping up a trip to the NFC Championship game here at home against Green Bay next Sunday on Fox. What a job this Bears offensive line has done today.
Phenomenal. In all phases. Nothing great in the running game, but just very methodical. They haven't had that big long run, but a lot of those types of runs right there.
This whole team in general, special teams, you talked about it, Darryl, defensively, offensively. I'll tell you what, very rarely do you see all teams dominate in all 3 phases of the game. There it is, Jay Cutler, 2 touchdown runs. Forte, 20 rushes, 64 yards. And Olsen starting it off with his touchdown.
We've referenced that regular season game back on October 17th, won by the Seahawks here, 23-20. Lovie Smith told us on Friday they outplayed us in all 3 phases in that game. Second down at 5. Forte tackled at the 39-yard line.
They really did, but there's been so much change with both of these teams since that point till now. It was hard to go back and reference it. I think that's why it's so different this time around. It's why Mike Williams doesn't have 10 catches. It's why the Chicago Bears have been much better on 3rd down. You know, they're just 2 completely different teams. The time of possession just in this half, and that shows that's all the offensive line right there. That's the ability to run the football effectively and not get behind the chains and down in distance.
Third down at 1. Play action. Cutler. Davis. Touchdown. Kellen Davis.
And I think that Earl Thomas is going to kind of sum up the defensive performance for Seattle right here. That they just, have just been a little bit off all day long, just missing things. He comes across from his safety position, has a chance to make a play on the ball, and misses it. Good concentration by Kellen Davis to make the catch and carry it in for the touchdown.
Kellen Davis, in his Bears career, 12 receptions, 5 have gone for touchdowns. Goal the extra point. It's now 35-10 Bears.
Watch Earl Thomas back here. He's got his eyes on the quarterback. He does everything right. Here comes the ball. Just goes up, just misses it.
Yeah, just missed timing. Offensive line giving Jay Cutler plenty of time back there. Once again, Darryl.
And how about the tight end position today for the Chicago Bears? Greg Olsen, the beginning of the game, Kellen Davis here closing it out. And then on the flip side for Seattle, when you lose John Carlson on your first series and the impact that that had, everything falls to Cameron Mora. You've only got one tight end, so any two tight end packages you were going to run during the course of this game are kind of gone. And just from a leadership standpoint, what he did last week against New Orleans. So the key to this game has been, what happened at the tight end position.
Congratulations, Kellen Davis. Score a touchdown. Now go after kickoff coverage.
That's what tight ends do. You've got to be able to show your value in a number of different ways when you're a backup player. If you can jump into some of those multiple tight end sets, then be a good player on the big four: kickoff return, kickoff coverage, punt return, and punt protection. You'll have yourself a roster spot for several years.
Now Jay Cutler smiling.
Finally.
2 touchdown passes. He's run for 2. Leon Washington on the return for Seattle. And he's tackled at the 26-yard line. Well, Fox tomorrow at 8, 7 Central. An all-new House returns with the most dramatic cases yet and more than a few big surprises. Candace Bergen guest stars in an all-new episode of House. Your discretion advised tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on Fox. Well, this is the Bears' house. And barring a miraculous comeback by Seattle, Soldier Field will host the NFC Championship game next Sunday. Forsett on the handoff from Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck does not have a contract for next season. He said this week he would love to return. He spent 10 years in Seattle. Forsett shaken up. And Pete Carroll said the same thing. We would love for Matt to return as well.
Well, he went through a little bit of a slump, in the month of December. Had a tough 4-game run and was actually benched in one of those games for Charlie Whitehurst. And you see right there, probably one of those high ankle sprains when you get a player on the back of the legs on the tackle.
Justin Forsett injured on the last play, replaced in the backfield by Leon Washington. Second down and 2 for Seattle. Just over 4 minutes remaining, with the Bears leading 35-10. Hasselbeck, a pump fake, and then a completion to Stokely for a first down in Bears territory. 21 yards, and Goose, you talked about the Bears defense eliminating the big plays. That is the biggest play of the day for the Seahawks on offense, 21 yards. From the 45, Hasselbeck over the middle, and Urlacher says hello to the tight end Cameron Mora.
And that's what you're going to have to do against this defense. You have to throw short, check it down, and here he comes. Look at 54. He sees the ball come off of Matt's hands. He's already on a beeline right to Cameron Mora.
Second down and 4. Another pump fake by Hasselbeck, and then he throws over the top. And it's taken down to the 30-yard line by Mora for a gain of 9.
And just getting back in to kind of wrap up with Matt Hasselbeck. He was very upset when he wasn't able to play in that St. Louis game at the end of the year to see if they could get into the playoffs. And I thought he was outstanding last weekend against New Orleans. I thought he's played well today. He hasn't had a lot of help out there from his wide receivers. But those are the types of things he does. He's very creative. He's very smart. And if you are a team that's in transition with Pete Carroll going into his second year next year, it's great to have veteran leadership at the quarterback position. So I'm interested to see what Seattle does with his contract situation.
Seahawks use a timeout. Hasselbeck making his 11th career postseason start. He's been to 3 Pro Bowls. This is 7th 3,000-yard season. And some improvisation right there to Leon Washington.
And he's been banged up all year long. He had a concussion earlier in the year. Tony talked about the left wrist that was broken. He's got the hip issue. So, I mean, at this stage of his career, physically just a little bit beat up. And watching him play last week, it was very impressive. Very impressive.
not invited to the combine out of Boston College. Winds up in Green Bay, 6th-round pick. Backs up Brett Favre for 3 years, spent some time on the practice squad. He has that in common, 3 years behind Favre with Aaron Rodgers, who had an unbelievable game last night in Atlanta. Hasselbeck to Stokely, and he's brought down at the 3-yard line. So a late push by the Seahawks with 2.5 minutes remaining.
That was the Bears that find where Stokely is and try to cover him.
That pass is nearly intercepted by Tillman, and then it's caught by Williams for a touchdown.
Charles Tillman is sick right now. He does a great job of going and covering. Mike Williams has an opportunity to get an interception, and Mike Williams is just at the right time at the right spot.
Just like you draw it up, right, Goose?
Oh, you practice that one. That's right, all the time.
Williams' second touchdown reception in his 4th quarter. Mare the extra point. And the Bears lead is now 35-17.
Hey, Goose, tell me he owes us some more push-ups, too.
Yeah, that's 10 he owes us.
He hasn't gone down this time to get the push-ups in.
I think he's a little tired for that right now, Dad. It's been a long game for Charles.
Well, he's been covering Mike Williams all day. Williams with a second touchdown, but the Bears lead by 18.
Just a great performance by Chicago. I mean, everything that they had to do. They came out, they got a great start. You build that lead, and then you turn it over to this defense. And, you know, I know that Matt Hasselbeck didn't have a lot of help on the outside. I thought he played well today, but just getting down to this Chicago defense and having to try and overcome that deficit is going to be hard. It's the way this team is set up. They're not going to make mistakes offensively. Them running the football today was very impressive. Nothing great, nothing flashy, but just methodical, taking time off the clock. Turn it over to your special teams. Turn it over to your defense. Play to the strengths of this team. And then you have Jay Cutler come out, and in his first postseason game in the NFL, he plays very, very well. He threw the ball well. He made good decisions, passing, pulled it down, ran it really well, was effective with the 2 rushing touchdowns. So you can see why when we were out visiting with the Bears on Friday, why there was that quiet sense of extreme confidence.
Well, we're going to see an onside kick here now. I don't know if they're going to do that same kick they did the last time where they pooched it right behind that front line, tried to outrun him to the ball. I didn't expect to see that, I think. Amari's going to go for the corner.
Ball is still loose. And the officials will now try to get to the bottom of the pile.
I think one of the Bears got in and got that. There were 3 Seahawks around, and none of them could get a handle on the ball. And I think one of the guys on the front line for the Bears was able to get in there and get it.
Right now is when everyone starts pulling people out. Everyone's trying to grab for the ball and grabbing fingers and bending fingers back, and officials are trying to find out where it is.
Bears have recovered. You would never do that stuff, Goose.
Absolutely not. This is
Yeah, watch it come off the Bear defender. So now it's a live ball. It hit Corey Graham. Look at all the Seahawk defenders there.
Babineau had
Roach.
a chance. Tate had a chance.
I'd tell you what, you cannot be in a more awkward position than Nick Roach is when he gets his ball. Watch how he lands. He's going to pull it to him, but he's going to be on his hands and knees.
Davis had a shot at it too.
It should have been, Coach. It should have been. You had everybody around it.
So the Bears with an 18-point lead, 2:14 remaining. From the Seahawks 37. And Forte. Tackled by Aaron Curry. And a timeout is taken by the Seahawks.
Well, the big key to this game, in my opinion, was going to be the plays of the quarterback position. Jay Cutler gets off to a great start. That's your 3rd play of the football game today. But I thought he was excellent with his decisions. A nice draw play there. This is a great one here. They had a shovel pass called. Looks like he pulled it down and ran it in. And there's a nice touch throw to Kellen Davis. So his first appearance in the playoffs as an NFL quarterback. Pretty impressive job by Jay Cutler.
274 yards in the air, his 46 rushing yards, most by a Bears quarterback in the postseason since Sid Luckman back in 1943. 64 rushing yards against the Redskins. Second down and 3. Here's Forte. And this will take us to the 2-minute warning. Bears will start to think ahead to the NFC Championship game against the Packers next Sunday. Two minutes remaining here in Chicago. Bears led 14-0 after one quarter, 21-0 at the half. Third down and 2, and Forte tackled back at the 30-yard line. Seahawks stop the clock with 1:55 seconds remaining. Bears finished 7-9 a year ago. Lovie Smith was on the hot seat, and we've talked throughout this game about many of his assistants, 3 former head coaches on Lovie's staff.
And I think it's been impressive that they've been able to share in the success this season, not let egos go in the way. Mike Tice done a great job. He's on your far right, the offensive line coach. Rod Marinelli in the middle. Lovie Smith gives up his duties as defensive coordinator, brings in Rod Marinelli. Lovie's even said that that's paid huge dividends for him. It allows him to focus on all the finer points of the game. Then Mike Martz, you know, the big story, bringing him in, getting him together with Jay Cutler to try and turn this offense around. And all 3 of them have played critical roles in getting to the point where they're going to be 1 game away from the Super Bowl next week against Green Bay.
Mike Martz led the Rams to a Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots as Cutler's pass bounces away from Bennett and now a late flag. Some extracurricular activity.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 57, Chicago. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Olin Kreutz.
Just taking care of one of his teammates. He didn't take too kindly. Probably that little shove right there at the end by Matt McCoy on Earl Bennett. So every team has one of those offensive linemen that's kind of the policeman, the pop that takes care of everybody else. And Olin Kreutz has filled that role for the Chicago Bears for quite a few years.
He definitely
now
has the personality to do that.
He does.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks take over. Out of timeouts. Hasselbeck going deep. And the catch is made by Obamanu.
That was a big play right there, Kenny. Wow, uncharacteristic of this defense.
Very much so, Goose, and that's not going to go over well with Rod Marinelli. Not at this stage of the game. He's going to want his team to finish strong, and that's unacceptable.
46 yards to Obamanu, and now Stokely is in for the touchdown. That didn't take long.
Brian Urlacher is flipping out right now. This is not what Rod Marinelli or that defense wants. They played a great game. They got 2 minutes left in the game. They got to learn how to finish.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
76-88.
Third touchdown pass of the 4th quarter for Matt Hasselbeck. It's an 11-point game.
Just a great throw on the first play to Obamanu on the outside. Working against Tim Jennings, just runs right by him. Don't know what he was sitting on in this situation. And then here's the follow-up right after it.
Looks like Matt Hasselbeck found another favorite receiver in Brandon Stokely. Been looking where he's at all day long.
Now the Seahawks will set up for another onside kick. Their third attempt. Seattle 0 for 2.
Well, they should have had the last one. I thought Olindo Mare did a good job on that last kick. He kicked it hard, kind of kicked it at Chicago. You've got to be able to recognize the speed of the ball. I worked on the front line on the hands team, and if it's kind of coming slow and you've got to go get it, you go get it. But when it's moving with pace, you get out of the way and you let the guys behind you. I mean, the guys up front are really designated blockers to allow the people in the back row to catch the ball clean. So really right now, Johnny Knox is supposed to be the catcher on this side right here.
There he is, Johnny Knox.
All these guys up front, you know, do your job, do your role, block the guy, let me catch it clean.
Now there's a flag on the far side. Flag back at the 30-yard line.
Offside, number 39, kicking team. Penalties declined. The result of the play is first down, Chicago.
Bernard Cox cannot be offsides on an onside kick. That's him right there, right next to the kicker. And look at the position he's in. I mean, he's not really going to have an opportunity to make a play on the ball.
Chicago recovered the ball, first down.
So now the Bears will be able to run out the clock. Seahawks out of timeouts. Coming up next Sunday on Fox. The NFC Championship game right here at Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Our coverage begins at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Bears and Packers split 2 games during the regular season. Both teams winning close ones at home. They've met 180 times during the regular season, more than any other matchup in league history. This will be only the second time of the postseason.
Well, I was extremely impressed that Chicago was able to hold them to 10 points in Week 17. Can they do that again? I mean, watching Green Bay play last night, Aaron Rodgers is just in a zone right now, and that receiving core is extremely deep. And the big thing about this Chicago defense is no big plays. That's what they try to take away. They make you be patient and work down the field. I think the mobility of Aaron Rodgers and that receiving core is going to be a huge challenge for the Chicago Bears team. And then can this offensive line of Chicago hold up to the pressure that Green Bay can bring? Clay Matthews off the edge, Charles Woodson on the blitz. I think it's going to be a fantastic game.
Mike McCarthy said last week, we'll play anyone, anytime, anywhere. Mike, Packers, you're coming to Chicago. For Daryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, Kenny Albert saying so long from Soldier Field. Coming up after these messages, Kurt Menefee and the guys with the AT&T postgame show.